Many Kentucky sports fans are keeping a friend in their prayers tonight. They say Bobby Flynn had an accident at his home and is now in the hospital. WKYT's Sean Moody is at the live desk with the latest on how Flynn is doing.
People who are involved with UK sports say Bobby Flynn is a legend around here. He's done all kinds of things, but most recently he's been in charge of press row at Rupp Arena. Over the past day or so, there have been a whole lot of people across the Bluegrass hoping for good news. Bobby Flynn is recovering at UK Hospital after a fall at his home. Coach John Calipari and his wife Ellen visited Flynn today. His son Doug Flynn tweeted this picture and said his father suffered some broken ribs, a broken clavicle, internal bleeding, and some other injuries after that fall. People have been sending well wishes through Twitter all day long. WKYT's Dave Baker has known Bobby Flynn for years.
It doesn't make any difference whether it's Jim Nance coming in to do a broadcast for CBS or whether it's a reporter who's new to the market and at Rupp Arena for the first time. He treats them all like they're the most important person in the arena, and that's why so many people have such an affection for him. You know, you say you're surprised by the outpouring, but when you know the kind of person that Bobby is and how many people he's touched, it's not surprising that so many people have rallied around him.
There on Twitter, Doug Flynn thanked everyone who had reached out or prayed for his father last night and today, as well as the ER staff for their work. In the newsroom, Sean Moody, WKYT.
This is the 5th or 6th shooting that's happened.
Coming up, the University Trails apartment complex is the scene of Lexington's latest homicide, resulting in a man's death.
Snow could be flying in the area overnight tonight and into part of your Monday. Light accumulations a possibility. And how about some single-digit wind chill readings? It's all coming at us. I'll have them.
With winter weather finally on the way for central Kentucky, regional road departments are gearing up.
This is WKYT News at 6.
Police have made their first murder arrest of the year. You're watching WKYT on the CW Lexington. I'm Kristen Kennedy. Lexington police say the arrest is from the city's second murder this year. They believe 25-year-old Donald Rourke Jr. shot and killed 28-year-old Corenz White at the University Trails Apartments. The shooting happened around midnight, and late this afternoon they charged Rourke with White's murder. WKYT's Mike Byer is tracking the investigation in our top story at 6.
We're 3 days into the new year, and Lexington has already had 5 shootings, resulting in 2 homicides. Lexington police say the latest shooting happened early this morning at the University Trails Apartments, leaving 28-year-old Corenz White dead.
It's really scary.
Bree Blair has lived in the complex for 2 years. Blair says the shooting has her concerned for her own safety.
When you don't know who you live around and then all these shootings start happening, it's definitely a little bit unsettling and nerve-wracking, especially when somebody dies.
Police say the homicide happened shortly after midnight. That's when officers tell us they responded to a call at the apartments in the 800 block of Red Mile Road for a report of an intoxicated person. However, police tell us they were surprised after learning that wasn't the case. Police say upon arrival, they located the man in a parking lot with a single gunshot wound to the chest. According to police, the victim was alert and told officers he was okay. However, just before 1:30 a.m., police say the man collapsed and died at the scene. Meanwhile, Blair tells us she's moving out of her apartment soon because she says this isn't the first time a shooting has happened at the complex she calls home.
This is the 5th or 6th shooting that's happened, and this has definitely had a big impact on why I'm leaving.
In Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Donald Rourke Jr. is charged with murder and tampering with evidence. Lexington police are also still trying to find the person responsible for shooting and killing a man on New Year's Day. The Fayette County coroner says 28-year-old Joseph McDowell died just after midnight Saturday. Police say someone shot McDowell several times around 5 Friday morning on Roosevelt Boulevard. He later died at the hospital. Police have not released any names of suspects or persons of interest at this time. State police are investigating a deadly crash in Owsley County. The wreck happened late last night on Kentucky 30 and Kentucky 1411 near Boonville. The Owsley County coroner says 2 pickup trucks crashed and that the driver of one of the trucks, 48-year-old Stephen McIntosh from Lee County, died. 3 people in the other truck went to the hospital. Troopers are still trying to figure out what caused the crash. And in Lexington this morning, 2 people went to the hospital after a crash. Police tell us a car and a pickup truck crashed at the intersection of Lane Allen Road and Clays Mill. The impact of that wreck forced both into the front yard of a home on Lane Allen. We're told the 2 people injured have non-life-threatening injuries. And officers haven't filed any charges. Management at a Boyle County hotel had to evacuate all their guests this afternoon after a car hit their building. The car hit the corner of the Danville Red Roof Inn. The Advocate Messenger reports emergency management believe a minivan with a wheelchair loader attached to the back backed up and hit the building. No one was injured. Somerset police are still looking for a man who walked away from a nursing home. 37-year-old Richard Fuquay signed himself out of the Summerview personal care home on North Main Street. Officers say around 4:15 Saturday afternoon. He told staff he was going to take a walk, but he never returned. Police say Fuquay suffers from a mental disorder and can be aggressive. He's about 5'7" and 175 pounds. He has dark hair and brown eyes and was last wearing blue jeans and a red and white Letterman jacket. This evening will bring with it a big change in the forecast. Temperatures are expected to drop and our chance for flurries is expected to rise. WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell is keeping a close eye on the sky tonight. Hey, Jim.
And hello to you. And you better believe we're going to be watching the sky very closely. We have that potential for the snow to get a little more active overnight and especially into your Monday. And the cold, it's already out there, but it's about to get a little bit worse. 37 degrees right now in Lexington with some low 40s across southern and eastern Kentucky. But as the overnight settles in, we'll watch those temperatures drop. And look at the snow that's feeding in across parts of Indiana, into Ohio. You know, you're like, that's not that impressive. But what's going to happen is it's going to pay us a visit tonight. And as it pays us a visit, we'll have even more moisture fed into it, which will keep the snow chances alive overnight and through a better part of the day tomorrow. It's going to be hit and miss. It's not going to last just nonstop all day. What you'll see is basically what happens right here. 7 o'clock in the morning, we'll break out into some flakes, maybe a little bit before then, just depending on your location. So we'll run through snow chances even into the daytime hours as well. I think we're going to hover in the low to mid 30s, depending on your location, and even some light accumulation of snow could come calling by the time it finally wraps up tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. We will take a close look at all of this coming up in just a few minutes.
The effects of last week's storms in the Midwest are trickling down the Mississippi River. Emergency crews in Memphis, Tennessee are warning people to get ready to evacuate. TV stations there say the Mississippi River hit flood stage last night. It's expected to crest at 41 feet next week, only 7 feet below 2011's flood.
We're cautiously optimistic. We're continuing to plan for that 48-foot mark in case we were to have a levee break or something north of us. So we're going to have the right people and the resources in place to deal with whatever situation comes our way.
The director of the Shelby County Office of Preparedness says there have not been any reports of flooded homes yet. And here in Kentucky, the work week could bring with it a chance of snow. Many county road crews are now preparing for an early morning. WKYT's Mike Linden is in Scott County to show us how crews there are ready for whatever Mother Nature brings.
With the chance for the first measurable snowfall of the season coming into Monday, regional road crews are ready to go.
1st of November, we started equipping our trucks, spreaders, plows, everything, making sure they're in good mechanical working order.
Brandenburg says after a historic winter last year, he's learned to always stock up on salt well in advance of the winter weather.
Brandenburg says their current salt barn is filled to capacity with nearly 2,500 tons of salt. But he says just a few miles away at their new facility, there's nearly 5,000 tons of salt, doubling that of their original salt barn.
The new $6 million facility will be finished in July, but Brandenburg says the larger salt barn, the larger lot, and the new overnight facility for his drivers will benefit the county in the long run.
Scott County is the fastest growing county in the state of Kentucky, and the court and the judge is preparing for all that, so that's what we're doing.
While the heaviest snowfall is yet to come, officials say after a year like last year, they're hoping for the best for the rest of the season.
Well, I always say if I can make it through the first of the year, you know, we got to deal with winter through January, February, part of March, so I don't look for it to be too bad this year, really.
In Scott County, Mike Linden, WKYT.
Brandenburg says every time road crews salt the roads, it costs the county up to $15,000.